So how you're watching my video? You're gonna say, duh, internet. But how internet works? How all these messages are being transmitted across continents? Have you ever thought about it? The answer is fiber optic cable. Fiber optic cable is something like human hair. Very thin, a little bit thinner than human hair. Right now, that is made of glass mostly, and in some cases plastic. So I'm going to tell you the story of submarine cables and later fiber optic cables. All started back in 1840. Yeah, in Britain. You remember Morse code? Da, da, did, da, tak, tak, tak. Telegraph. So when they invented telegraph, they wanted to connect inland and especially Canada and America. So in 1856, they laid first connection of copper cables to send Morse codes, telegraphic codes, Ireland and Newfoundland, Canada. And at that time, this was superbly miraculous. They thought it's witchcraft because previously in 1840, 50, to carry a message by boat, it used to take from like 10 to 12 days. And when the telegraph was laid, cable was laid, it was like a couple of minutes. So they thought it's magic. It's the future. But the first cable didn't work much because the chief engineer, he sent too much voltage power, so it fried the cable. So later, 1865, a significant copper cable that connected the transatlantic countries. Just to give you an example, UK and USA is like, by air distance, is like 6,800 kilometers apart. So from there, the British companies were dominating telegraph, telephone messages are going. Just to give an idea, in most advanced time, transatlantic copper cables, they could carry 35 telephone calls at a time. Things changed. In 1980s, fiber optic cable concept came in. That light will be sent as a signal through glass, something like this. And this fiber optic, that core, there are mostly 5 components. First one is the core, is the fiber optic cable. Then there is petroleum jelly. Then there is a thing called cladding, which is copper and other things. Then there is a called coating. And there is outer jacket, strengthening steel wire. So if you keep on doing that small hair, then all these 7 other layers. And at last is something like this. Arm diameter. That is submerged throughout this entire different seabeds. Right now there are 443 cables connecting different continents of the world except Antarctica. They are still satellite driven. And the whole length underwater sea cables, submarine cables, around 1 million kilometers of cables. Lastly, Africa, the continent was connected. And this is so expensive in early 2000, 99, 98, during the dot-com bubble. All these big companies connected and joined together to form consortium. Especially when AT&T was the first to spend a lot of money to lay under sea cable. Later in like 99, 2000, there was a $22 billion consortium to lay cables across the globe, different seabeds, and that went bankrupt actually. Coming back, so right now, as I mentioned, 1 million kilometers of cable, fiber optic cable are being laid through submarine cables, and they can transmit data in terabits. For giving an example, as I mentioned, in copper cable, in telegraph era, 35 phone calls could be managed. Right now, 7 crore HD videos at once you can stream with that network that has been placed under the seabeds. And one more interesting thing, as I mentioned, in many countries, universities, and especially in Germany, USA, they are now researching how light can be passed faster through these fiber optics, thin hair, because light that passes through, that 186,000 mile speed light goes through air, but in glass it slows down. That creates latency. So they are, you'll be so amazed to see that how, strategically they think. They are now researching something called sea mice. There is this creature called sea mice. They live in very deep. There is no light, so they illuminate. They are luminescent. They emit lights from their skin. There is a fiber like what is that thing? I forgot. So they're now researching that so that they want to make light go faster through glass. Coming back, most of the cables are laid beneath, like, 11,000, 12,000 feet, and especially fishing prone areas and low shallow areas, the cable is not like this much. It is even larger, thicker, just to avoid accidents. For every 1,000 kilometers, there are three and a half times problems occur, accident occurs, disconnection occurs. Even sharks come and bite those things. It happened. Yes. So there is one most important thing that happened in 1950s is this invention of repeaters. For example, every 100 kilometers there is a repeater which strengthens the signal, the light, so it goes faster, it does not get distorted. And why I am telling you that, we are using internet, we are all seeing things. Yeah, I'm pushing some buttons in my phone, it's going somewhere, but how it is going, where it is going, just see. Next time you see a light, a glass, a plastic, a copper wire, think. There are companies, there are universities who are researching on these things. So coming back, fiber optic cables, I said, they transmit data. Most of us, we think that satellite is probably faster. Satellite is not faster. Satellite communication is still megabits. These terrestrial fiber optic cables are in terabits. Antarctica is not connected. Just to wrap this whole thing up, future is data driven. We all know that. So that's why if you are planning for a future career, you can pick out that I want to be a cable layer. How robots are being used, how from back of the ship people are laying cables. How I want to be a diver. I want to go down and join cables, lay cables. One more thing, submarine cables are being used right now also for offshore wind power plants. There's those big fans you see, the power they produce. From beneath there is a submarine cable that connects to these onshore power stations. So that is also another use of fiber optic cable. A lot of companies are doing research and investing a lot to improvise the cable laying, maintenance, and everything. Just a few things that cable industry, submarine cable gets destroyed. One is trawlers, fishing trawlers. Because of them, their fishing activities, 30%, 35% accidents happen. Then anchorage, they drop anchors. And there are, as I mentioned, marine mammals like sharks and everything. They kind of bite off and chew things. So I hope that you loved it. Next time you just play internet, think about that fiber optic cables, lights, sea mice, 1856, and all these stories. So every time you see something, go deeper. Peel the layers and go deep inside and learn the thing inside out. This is my Tech Talk 5. Hope you guys liked it. Thank you.